Howdy, it's Kelvin from Raven Farm Sawmill again. Sorry about this funny angle, and once again you can see the constrained shop I have. But anyways, I just wanted to show the drag type bandsaw sharpener while I was out in the shop, and yes, I'm still wearing my pajamas, but this is about the information, right? You can see this is a pretty beat up machine. I've owned a couple of these. They've all been fairly easy to get parts for and repair, and I like the simplicity of it and the reliability. And I bought this used for a few $100s off the internet, and it served me well. It does a good job. Just wanted to kind of point out that yes, I spent $2,000 on my setter. Why did I spend $300 on this old technology grinder? Well, let's see. So I think I explained in the other video regarding the setter that set's critical. You send your band blades out to be sharpened. They don't necessarily change set for you. You may be able to find somebody. I don't know how consistently the smaller shops are. I've used Woodmizer's resharp services. They do a good job. I saw a lot of logs I get from tree services, and they tend to have junk in them, and I was wrecking a lot of blades, but with my own system, I can bring more of those back. The resharp services tend to toss those blades because, yeah, they won't be like new, but I saw a lot of different logs, smaller logs, softer pine, so that I mark the blades as having hit something. I rebuild them as best I can if I feel they're within the realm of saving, which requires a lot of grinding and a lot of monkey business with the setting to get those teeth that have been damaged by whatever they hit back doing their job again. And so I save more bands. I like the turnaround time on sharpening and setting my own. I custom set wider. I've widened the head on my band mill, LT40 Super Diesel, Woodmizer. Really like the company and the product support. And same thing with the setter. Apparently you can still get parts for these. I'm not sure if they're gonna continue that forever. They don't know that they sell this model anymore, but regardless, there's a lot of them out there that can be picked up, and they're quite easy to use. So I have modified this one as well. The cam here, located here, I'm not sure how close you can see, controls the shape of the tooth profile, and I have gone through and ground this to better conform to what I'm getting from Woodmizer as the standard 7-degree blade, not the new Turbo 7. Apparently these won't sharpen that. I'm still wanting to maybe get my hands on one from my buddy to run it through here to see if I could modify a cam to be lifting the grinding stone high enough to account for that tooth profile. And apparently it's got two bevels on it, and I don't know. I could modify the teeth over time to match what this machine likes to do. And you can grind different heads on it. Right here I've got different angles marked out. Here's a 4-degree, here's a 7-degree, and here's a 9-degree, and you're simply loosening a bolt on the back and setting your spacer between the motor, which is perpendicular to the grinding wheel here, and the block that holds the blade. And I've used a mechanics angle checking tool to verify that I am in fact getting a 7-degree set. I like that. Cuts the woods I find myself mostly dealing with in my area. A lot of walnut, live edge, cherry, oak, maple, hard maple, soft maple, basswood, pines of all sorts. And so that's 7-degree with I have a fairly old, beat up LT40 Super, but it's got the 42 horse Kubota turbo diesel on it, which is a fairly nice engine, and have had good luck with that, and it's strong enough to pull these wider set, thicker blades. And I do, as I maybe mentioned in the other video, run some different thicknesses. This is happens to be a 55 thousandths blade body. This saw is the flattest and the widest with the fastest speed. However, I have the 19-inch wheels on my mill, and they do fatigue fail very quickly compared to the 45 thousandths standard blade, though increasing the set on the blade to my average is 28 thousandths. On the wider cuts with a 1.5-inch width blade and the 45 thousandths standard 7-degree blade gives me a fairly good cut in most general wood, and I don't have to monkey with a lot of different settings, tooth angles. So what I've done with the fact that this 55 thousandths tends to fatigue fail on those small band wheels is that I only make the wide cuts with the 55 thousandths on the big valuable logs that I want dead flat. And as soon as I'm done making those cuts, I run coolant on the blade to clean them, pull them off, set them aside to grind them, even though they're still maybe somewhat sharp. I want to get those fatigue cracks out of the gullet so I can maximize the usage of these blades that if I just did general sawing with, the lifespan I've been getting maybe as I saw 500-600 board feet on the first sharpening, I would sharpen it, and within a couple hundred board feet after that, it would break pretty typically. So my mill's old, kind of more out of alignment. My buddy just bought the LT50 brand new. It's got 19-inch wheels. They recommended that it could run the 55 thousandths, though depending on who you talk to, you hear different things regarding that. He's getting a first sharpening running, quite a few board footage. He's on his second sharpening now, and he's getting some breakage, though not as quickly as I have with mine, and I put that down to him having a new mill that's probably very well aligned at this point. And so something to consider. I think that, as I mentioned in the setting video, that the Woodmizer's 50 thousandths blade might be the ticket. Right now they only have that in the Turbo 7, and that is something I can't sharpen on this old school machine. So anyways, I'll place this guy in here. And set things up. We got it plugged in.